Obviously we're excited to get a victory, but this day is much more about the families of the 10 members that we lost in 2001. Obviously we were playing for something bigger than this game against Colorado, and I thought that our fans came out and supported it and, helped us get to a victory. And that just goes to show how phenomenal the Oklahoma State family is in terms of taking care of one another and always being loyal and true to one another. And we'll never forget them, and we'll always have their back. So it was a great day in terms of that.
We'll start with questions for Rob and Pat, and then once you're through with them, we'll cut them loose and continue with Coach.
Pat, talk about your effort, especially in the first half. You were an engine.
This one just meant a little bit more to me. So I lost my grandfather last week, and then his funeral was yesterday. My grandma texted me. She's like, he would want you to, stay there and handle business for the game, but just make sure you play for him today. So, it just had a little extra meaning for me.
For the guys, obviously for that as well, but obviously with the Remember the 10, y'all are thinking about that throughout the week, and then obviously today. Does it make the week? Does it make practice in the game? Does it feel different? Do things mean a little more this week and today?
For sure. I mean, at least for me, obviously with it being so close to home with me, just understanding that everybody here, all the families are also feeling that, and just making sure that when you're out there, you give your 100% because those people are watching down today. And it's really important to do that.
Yeah, going into this game, it definitely meant more. We knew coming into the game that we weren't just playing for ourselves. We had a lunch before the game, and just going in and just being able to see all the people that were affected. We knew going into the game that they were going to be watching, so we wanted to give everything we had when we stepped on the floor, and I feel like we went out and did that.
Pat, that stretch where I think you got a bucket off a roll, then Arturo stole the inbound pass, and then you got another bucket. It seems like you two were just sort of feeding off each other. Can you guys take me through what that moment was like for you, those few plays there?
I think our team chemistry has been getting better and better, and you can just kind of tell when people want it, when they're giving the extra effort, and I think when guys are playing hard like that, they can kind of feel who's also in sync with them. So.
I haven't seen it too many times, but my notes, as I was writing it down, you hit a reverse follow off a reverse miss. That right there is pretty incredible.
I've never heard it called that, but okay.
Yeah, I mean.
Any way to put the ball in the hoop. Hey.
Y'all don't want to ask him about his free throws?
Well, I mean, yeah, go ahead and talk about the free throws.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, is tracking my percentage every day. I'm shooting 100 extra. We've focused on it a little more, but I'm feeling confident with it now.
You guys got them, I think, 22-7 or something like that on second chance points. Was that a big point of emphasis coming into today?
For sure. I mean, that's always the emphasis. The more second chance points we can get, I feel like the game rewards you. And we crashed the glass, and we defended well. And we got easy buckets. Those are buckets that you can just, add on to instead of making the game harder, that's the way to make the game easier. Just get second chance buckets, just crashing the glass and doing the little things. And I feel like, it helped us get a win today.
Patrick, so what were kind of your emotions throughout the week? And I'm guessing it's a little bit of a roller coaster. And then also Robert, as a teammate with somebody who's going through something like that, what is the role of the teammates as your teammates going through something like that?
I mean, it's never easy, but my team has always been really supportive, and coaching staff, coach, I missed the Oral Roberts game. I got to go home and see him before he passed, so they've been really supportive and really helpful with that stuff. And then my family flew in for the game, to come give me company today and yesterday. And then my high school basketball starting 5 drove down, so they were here for the game. And it's just been, all the people, who love and support me, they've been doing what they needed for me this last week.
And to speak on it from the team perspective, we were just there. This is a brotherhood. I spend more time with them than I probably do my family. Early on in the year, I lost a family member, and they were there for me every step of the way. And it's the same thing from just making sure that he's okay, he doesn't need anything, from checking on the family. This is a brotherhood. We love each other. Win, lose, or draw, these are my brothers till I pass away. I love them, and so that's just what we're supposed to do.
Amen.
Amen.
Any other questions from players before we let them go? Thanks, guys.
I just feel
Thanks,
bad
guys.
I didn't ask about the free throws soon enough, so. Okay. The reverse follow off a reverse miss.
I'm gonna have to
You'll see
I'm
it in
gonna do that.
film.
process this. I'm gonna have to process this.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Sir.
Thank you, guys.
Questions for Coach Lutz?
Obviously, a much better start today. We kind of talked about starts earlier this week. Just what do you think kind of contributed to you guys getting out of the blocks a little bit better?
Our defense was a little bit better. I thought that we were able to, get some easy baskets off of turnovers. And then I thought that we shared the ball at halftime, if I'm not mistaken. We had 6 assists on 9 made baskets, which is, a very, very high percentage. And as I've talked about in the press conference last week, we've been a little bit too selfish. So I thought the guys played more as a team and shared the ball offensively. But it all started with our defense. We were able to turn them over and get some easy ones.
The other day, you kind of lamented like effort or energy or something like that. Do you think being at home, they kind of feed off of it in a different way than they do on the road?
Well, let's just be honest. If you don't have great energy today, with everything that's going on and the Remember the 10 celebration and those sorts of things, man, something's wrong, right? I mean, we're at home. We're playing for something much larger than the game against Colorado. And, I've always said that you always have to rely on their character, and their character has been pretty good thus far. We're not perfect by any means, but today they did a good job.
When you're immersed in this, and you talked the other day about the gravity, you felt the gravity of the whole thing. I mean, what's your sense right now that it's over? You won. You actually won by 10. I thought that was kind of congruent with the day, but what are your feelings? Are you proud of your guys? What's the feeling?
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely proud of them. Like, I mean, I want to hug each and every person that was here. I didn't get an opportunity. I got an opportunity to go up and speak for a little bit, but like I want to hug in each and every family and just tell them I'm sorry. Obviously I wasn't here, but that's the feelings that I have for them. It's just such a tough deal. They lost their significant other, their brother, their whatever, and it's hard to fill that void. So I want them to know that we'll always be here to try and help fill that void. But as I said earlier, I look at it a little bit differently as well. It's unbelievable, and it's awesome how they have all come together and they've kind of almost created their own little family out of this tragedy. And unfortunately, we had it, but it's created an awesome bond, and I'm just happy to be a part of it, and we're obviously going to continue to make sure that it never dies.
With, Pat going through that this week, what was sort of your role in just communicating with him ahead of this, and just how did you sort of see him handle everything?
Yeah, Pat's fantastic. I mean, Pat is very much a person that has and expresses his feelings. He really wanted to go see his grandfather before he passed, and he was able to and make peace. So this week he's been good. He's been rock solid. All of us on staff are just, it's like Robert said, you're just here to support him. But he's got a good family, and he's got a great head on his shoulders, and he got to make peace with his grandfather before he went to heaven. So he's been really, really good.
I'm sure you feel good seeing him, play as well as he did today, given everything that he was going through.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, you always worry about people in times of grief, but you know, he was great. He was great, and he's been great in practice. You know, and as I said in the radio interview post game, you know, he probably doesn't get all the minutes he always wants, but he's kept a good attitude for the most part, and he's worked really hard. So, I mean, you know, hats off to him.
I think there was a moment in the first half where Abu was about to come in and you kind of pulled
Yeah.
him away. Was that for Pat?
Yeah, it was for Pat because Pat's playing great. You know what I mean? And that's what I keep telling these guys is that we've got to get past ourselves. And I don't want to belabor the point, and I don't want to put them down, but we've got to get outside of thinking about ourselves and continue to be about team first. And Abu showed selflessness there, right? He said, "Coach, I'm with you. He's playing great." I said, "Pat, do you need a sub?" He said, "No, I'm good." Abu went and sat back down, you know. And if we can continue that, I think we're going to give ourselves a chance. It's when we don't that it puts us in a tough spot.
We talked to you about Connor the other day, another solid effort from him. I guess fouls probably slowed down his time
Yep.
today, but otherwise it seemed like he was playing well.
You know what? I thought Connor, obviously he hit a couple shots, but he was on the floor a couple times, diving for loose balls. He was in there rebounding, keeping balls alive. You know, it's kind of like I said the other day, we're going to go to the next man. You know, if somebody's producing, they're going to play. And again, kind of like Pat, Connor's done a good job of continuing to work and not complain. So I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the possession. He had one of each. He kept the possession alive with getting down on the floor on a loose ball. Then he came back and got an offensive board, and I think it was Brantley that dribble penetrated and popped. That's huge hustle.
Yeah, I thought the entire team was the first to the floor on any ball today, and that hasn't always been the case, and that certainly helped us. But yeah, Connor, man, again, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for us, right? It gives us another weapon because he can pass and he can shoot. So you know, when he's on the floor, he spreads out the defense for you. So just, you know, need him to keep working and keep producing. But I'm excited for him.
Chi hit a shot from the logo today, hit a big dunk, and gave up a jumper afterwards that you didn't seem thrilled about. But with the highlights and the potential that he has, if he can continue to lock in, just kind of what kind of ceiling does Chi have, do you think?
Chi's got as high a ceiling as he wants to have. You know, I mean, he has NBA potential, but you know, it's just a matter of can he remain disciplined? Can he do the right things? Can he practice hard every day? I mean, his highs and his lows are just phenomenal, right? Like you have that great dunk and then you go down and you let the guy shoot from the corner and you stand in the lane. Like that's not acceptable, right? And we had talked in the timeout about, you know, not taking our foot off the gas and playing the right way. But yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of how good Chi wants to be.
As a coach, how do you kind of try to point him in the right directions, I guess, in moments like that?
Man, I don't have an answer for you on that, guys. It's kind of like dealing with your kids. You know, some days you're hard on them, some days you love on them, some days you shake your head and walk away. You know, I try to be very fair and straightforward and the same every day with him. He's either going to do, as with all of them, they're either going to do what's asked of them or they're not going to play.